I think that Zebec hypothetically just achieved a pretty good milestone, and even though nothing I say is financial advice, maybe arguably the idea of 10 cents is still on my mind. I'm going to talk about that later on in the video when it comes to ZBCN. But ultimately, when I take a look at what is this milestone, right? Not too long ago, Zebec Cards announced that Boba Network was added. Now, Boba, it's literally spelled like, boba tea, like BOBA. But even besides that point, when I take a look at this, why do I think it's pretty cool? It's because in this post on X, they say that they're excited to welcome Boba Network again. However, this is the 17th chain supported on the Zebec Silver and Carbon cards. So again, there's 16 others than this. Very impressive in my opinion. Keep in mind, right? The Zebec cards, they already support multiple blockchains. Like for instance, we see something like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, the Base network, which is Coinbase's layer 2. And again, there are some others out there, but I'm just kind of highlighting a few there. This is pretty impressive, and I think it showcases the direction in which they seem to be heading fundamentally. And I like what I'm seeing because other projects out there in their position, they probably wouldn't want to really do much more. I see some projects out there, they're pretty big. They don't really want to improve anymore. And again, maybe it's a different kind of approach, but then I do like what I'm seeing here. And supposedly, there's going to be a custom like Boba card, maybe coming soon. I'll have to wait and see when it comes to that, but I just think it's pretty cool nonetheless. And again, I just like what I'm seeing because we already kind of know the things that Zebec is doing with payrolls, right? Or should I say more specifically, instant payrolls. Again, it also has an aspect of AI-based payment finance. Of course, it's also generally focused on the payments market and global trade and finance. We take a look at how it's focused on RWAs, or should I say real-world assets. And also on top of that, of course, we take a look at the cards and being focused on education and working towards ISO 20022 compliance. All this stuff is kind of generally already known when it comes to Zebec. But I think, again, just seeing kind of adding that aspect of Boba, right, that I mentioned before, like the Boba network, which again kind of reminds me of like boba tea. I just kind of like that whole vibe overall. So ultimately, I'm still very excited, but only time will tell. And let's say arguably the idea of, something like 10 cents when it comes to ZBCN wouldn't necessarily surprise me because it is around a 23x from here. Market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply is around 9 billion. I don't know why that seems that ridiculous to me. Like for instance, Solana Ventures, which is, again, pretty massive, right? They're supposedly one of the backers when it comes to Zebec. We take a look at something like Circle, which not only is publicly listed, but then they're the creator of USDC, the stablecoin, and they're supposedly an early backer when it comes to Zebec, and they also allegedly hold a significant amount of ZBCN, and this is even like according to a post that Zebec made quite a while ago. It wasn't even like something I discovered on my own, so I just kind of feel like in the grand scheme of things, when I consider how massive Circle is, when I consider just how massive Solana Ventures is, and when I take a look at the fundamentals of Zebec, to me, this sort of arguably the way I kind of just feel this vibe, a miniature version of Ripple and Stellar, but then having a Solana aspect, that market cap doesn't seem that ridiculous, but this is just my perspective. Not too long ago, we saw ZBCN top 10 in terms of utility when it comes to Solana, so I find that very impressive. And Solana, it's an emerging layer 1 blockchain. For quite a while, everyone was like, oh, it's only Ethereum and all this. But then we take a look at Solana, it's also beginning to emerge, and it's pretty massive currently. Even though BNB has been doing pretty good, again, we take a look at Solana, I just like it overall as a layer 1 blockchain, and I like the vibe that Zebec is giving me. But again, besides that point though, I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to ZBCN, but all I'm doing is simply dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. Literally, that's about it. I mean, beyond that, I can't really do anything else, in my opinion. Like, I cannot demand when things do this or do that when it comes to the market. It's going to be beyond my control. So if, let's say, hypothetically, if it ever even does, like the altcoin space has that next leg up, or ZBCN, the exact timing, again, I will not be able to find that exact moment, but at least what I can do is just control myself and just, I think, dollar cost average and just hold and I just wait. Again, that's all I'm doing. And just staying patient. I treat it like a waiting game, so whether or not it happens anywhere hypothetically, between like this time all the way until like Q1 of 2026, again, whenever that timeline is, if it ever even does, it's going to be beyond my control, but at least hypothetically I can just prepare by just holding and just waiting. And literally that's about it, because I did that in the beginning when it comes to ZBCN, and I'm still going to do that right now. But again, that's about it, but I do like what I'm seeing when it comes to Zebec, again, in terms of their progression, fundamentally speaking. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.